Step 1, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time.
Step 1, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
See, I don't know about y'all, but like for real, I don't mind being talked about. My problem come in when they start making stuff up. So you can talk about me all you want. It is what it is. You know, it's either I did it or I didn't. I said it or I didn't. Whatever the case is, I don't care. I let whoever think whatever, feel whatever. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? But it's the making up part. It's the lying part. It's the adding on to part that always get me. I don't mind being talked about. It's when y'all start lying that bothers me.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
I'm Jennifer Santinello, and this is Layla. She's my firstborn child. She's the child that made me a mother. If my girl is out there somewhere, I would like for these stories to reach her. She seems to have vanished, and we have been investigating her disappearance for almost 3 months now. We need more eyes on her story. We need to shine a light and get her story out of just this small town that it's in. I am here to implore you to share and talk about our girl. If my girl is no longer with us, I would like for those who know what happened to her to feel the pressure.
What inspired you to this particular case? I'm always interested in stuff like this. Obviously, talking to you about the Summerwell stuff like that, I'm always trying to be on the right side and help people that are hurting. But her being local, and like I told her, my son's 25 and Layla ain't too much younger, so
Yeah,
it could be anybody from Kingsport. The way I look at it,
Yeah.
And more people should be here helping her, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
Many of us came from all over the country to help Jennifer Santinello look for her daughter. Can you help? If you know something, say something. Summer Wells went missing on June 15th, 2021. She disappeared from her home at 110 Ben Hill Road in Hawkins County. On her 2-year milestone, we placed this banner on the side of the road. Since she went missing, she hasn't been heard or seen from again. While I was visiting the area, I saw Don Wells working on his truck and asked him if he'd come down and speak to me, which he did. Don Wells and I had a conversation about his daughter Summer Wells and information related to her disappearance. Don Wells maintains that somebody came on the property and took his daughter away. He still believes after all this time she has been abducted. His family came under heavy scrutiny, but they've maintained their innocence. One thing Don Wells told me is that they have no new leads into anybody that could have been responsible or is responsible for the disappearance of his daughter Summer Wells. Many people across this country want to know what happened to Summer Wells. Where is Summer? If you have any information related to the disappearance of Summer Wells, you are asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
What is up, my beautiful people of YouTube and Twitter is in the house this morning as we dive in. Oh, I just realized I don't have any lights on. Might help if I light it up a little bit, huh? Lighten it up for Layla Santinello. Lighten it up for Layla. There we go. We got some lights in the house. I didn't even notice that when I got on here. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you. We have a few things that we're going to go over, a couple cases that I found a little interesting that I thought maybe you guys would find interesting. And then we're going to have an open discussion about this whole wiretapping thing and Becky Hill. And now we're starting to see where this whole wiretapping situation kind of came from. It, in all fairness, it came from the ethics. It sounds like he was spying related to the ethics complaint. So it doesn't still doesn't seem like it really has a whole lot to do at this point. I mean, we don't know, but it doesn't seem like right now at this point that this has anything to do with the motion for new trial, anything at all. It is just related to this book. Potentially, we're going to get into it. We're going to read it. Everybody's going to be in the know. But good morning. It's nice to see you, Unicorn, Indiana. Number one, to say good morning to Bullhorn Betty in chat. Don't forget, as you're coming in, please consider thumbing up this segment. TL, good morning. Old Rusty is up in the house, sitting at an airport. That sounds like fun, fun, fun. I hate those days. Have safe travels, Rusty. It's nice to see you in here this morning. TD, good morning. It's nice to see you. Days, it's nice to see you as well. Cindy, Crystal, I am present. TL, Connie Branch, it's nice to see you. Good morning to you, Love Bug. I hope you're having a warm day. I know it's been getting a little cooler here and you're further north than me. JB's mama, it's nice to see you. I am Team Summer, one of our favorite coffee beans. Why? Because she's a beautiful mod. We want to give all of our beautiful mods a round of applause. I gotta tell you, I feel like I've got like the best mods literally anywhere. And it's not that any other content creators' mods aren't good and aren't special to that creator. I'm just saying my poor mods are battle axes at this point, right? I don't think they knew what they got themselves into when they decided to mod for the Bullhorn Betty show. However, they do an amazing job, and they do it from a place of love, goodness, and kindness. And I got to tell you, I love them. They brought me to tears yesterday. I have to be honest with you. My mods brought me to tears yesterday. Good tears, not bad tears, good tears, tears of joy, tears of appreciation. They're just great people. And I just want to give them another shout out because they deserve it. They deserve it. Jules, it's nice to see you up in the house. Good morning. I feel like I missed somebody. I said hi to JB. Okay. Second thesis, Crafty Chris, nice to see you. I wish YouTube would fix the polls. I don't always see the question after I answer. Hey, I can't help YouTube, right? YouTube's been a problem. What can I say? Ronnie, missing person, it's nice to see you up in the house. Nice to see you. Who else do we have? Hindsight 2020, Manic Mama T. Good morning, love. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Oh, our first super sticker on the Bullhorn Betty True Crime. We did it days ago. I got to tell you, we hit all of our markers on this channel. I think it was like 72 hours or something like that. Might have been 90. Very, very quickly. We hit all of our metrics that needed to monetize this. But behind the scenes, YouTube likes to take their sweet time. So it's always lovely to deal with YouTube when you're trying to get monetized. So it literally took us an additional like 4 days for it to recognize. Now, we're going through the process. We have our 4,000 hours. We're going to be completely, I don't think I'm going to do memberships on this particular channel. I think I'm just going to leave it to ads and super chats and super stickers because you guys are already paying memberships on the other channel. And so, you know, I'm not sure, you know, this is going to be its own little channel eventually, and it's going to be doing something totally different than true crime. So at that point, when we do the conversion, at that point, I will do the memberships. But until then, this is just going to be, we are not even running ad revenue. So it's just going to be super chats, super stickers, and super thanks on the videos moving forward. But it's me, Jen, the first one. Thank you. I just want to tell you, I love you. It is awesome to see that come through again. Yay. I got to tell you, they keep trying to knock us down. They keep trying to, and they still fight me over that copyright claim. And I don't really give a shit. You know, they can go kiss my ass. And I got to be honest with you. It doesn't matter. They're never going to win. And that's what they just can't seem to grasp. They will never win when it comes to Bullhorn Betty. And here's why. Because I just keep going. That's the difference. The reason why I'm here and do the things I do is because I don't let people push me around. I don't get knocked on my ass. I don't get taken out, and I don't get canceled. I'm Bullhorn Betty. Get it through your thick skulls. And no matter what, we have an amazing crew on literally every single platform that follows the work that we do here. And that is amazing. And you know what? They tried to take us out, and you guys rose up and said, the hell with them. You came over here. You supported this channel. You got this channel to where it needed to be, literally in days. That should show the world we are not going anywhere. We're going to get bigger. We're going to get louder. We're going to do more good things across this country as we build this channel and other channels moving forward. We may end up building a whole entire channel exposing how cyberbullying is done here on the streets of YouTube and other social media platforms. Now that I know the secret sauce on how it's done, might as well start showing people publicly how it's done. So we're going to be probably doing a third channel literally designated to online bullying and the hypocrisy across the YouTube streets. And that will be our clip channel. Our clip channel. So, we're going to be, this is not going anywhere. I just want to thank everybody that got us here. We're going to be rocking this out. As you can see, second channel, less than a week, is fully monetized. And thank you guys. God bless you. And just, this is for all the people that thought they were going to take us, because the Bullhorn Betty channel is not about me. Every time you attack me, you're attacking our family. And this is our family. And we don't back down. We don't back down. Good morning, my beans. I can't believe we are up here seeing all this. Look at this. Look at this. And then our positive one finds us really why we are all here, right? It's just in the name. It is just in the name. God is good. God is great. And you know what? Each and every day we get to wake up and decide whether we want to be negative Nancy's or provide positive vibes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for being here. God bless you. Gigi for life. It's nice to see you. Let's see who else I haven't said hi to. Jerry, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Old Rusty. Well, it's nice to see you. I think I've already said a good morning to you. Southern Granny Wolf, I have not said good morning to you. Well, good morning, love bug. Jen burning it out. She's like, we got super stickers. We got super stickers. I think she's been in DT. I think she's had DT. I think it's really bothered Jen not being able to send her super chats and super stickers. She's been chomping at the bit. She's you need to get this monetized. I gotta get my post in. Oh, sorry, wrong one here. Oh, they keep putting them up, and we just, yep. Watermelon time. And yes, we do promote Stop Bullying. And if you guys are being bullied online, please reach out to the online hotline to stop bullying, and please make your voice be heard. Please make your voice be heard. Thank you, TD. Nice to see you. God bless you. God bless you. Sonia, I don't, at this point, I don't even remember if I said good morning to you. So good morning, Sonia. If I didn't say good morning and I see the real me too is up in the house, I love it. I love it. And guess what I ended up doing? I told you guys I was going to call Lori Lowe yesterday. And guess what? I ended up being on the phone all day yesterday. And by the time I got off the phone, I ended up going live. And I literally never called her. I told you that happens. If I literally don't call somebody after this. But Lori Lowe, you've got my number now. So just give me a shout. When you got some time today, just call me. I'll answer. I promise. I'll put whoever is on the other end of the phone on hold. Just Debbie, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're blowing it up. You guys crack me up. You really do. God bless you guys. God bless you guys. We roll in deep, don't we? And what a great, we're going to be going, what's today? Thursday. I'd like, before Sunday, to get these gifts up there. So I'll make the decision. I'll reach out to Lori Lowe today, see if we can get up there today. If we can't, sometime or at the absolute latest. I just feel like Monday's just too long. I wanted to have these there the 10th. Today's the 14th. So I really want to give the mom an opportunity because she needs to go through all the toys, wrap them, put the, she needs to present. We didn't wrap any of the gifts. I didn't want to because she doesn't know what's in them. And I thought that it would be very important for her. God bless you. God bless you. And I decided today was going to be a coffee pot day. So, I had the Keurig stuff yesterday, but I got to be honest with you. I had to play videos for you guys so I could sneak off and go fill my coffee. The things you don't see behind the scenes. So I wanted to just give a few moments. We're going to go through the language of letting go. As you know, if you are new to this channel, I'm Bullhorn Betty, and I've had a lot of life challenges, that I caused myself, a lot of life challenges from, childhood trauma that led me down some really dark places, really dark paths, and doing some pretty dark stuff. And so I ended up getting sober. And as I started, living life and getting back to the, the grind, I, changed my path where I decided I wanted to do good in the world. I wanted to make a difference, and really, started making a path for myself. Back in 2008, 2009, it took me a long time to get where I was able to leave work in 2018 and kind of be my own person. And there's been a lot of struggles, especially being in active addiction, and then, recovery, and then some relapses. And, it's just been really, it's been an experience. It's been an experience. It's been a long road. It's been a tough experience. It's not something that's very easy to do. I can guarantee that. But what I find is that sharing my story helps somebody else. And I wanted to start incorporating some of the things that had helped me back in there, because I know there's a lot of people that won't acknowledge that they're struggling, or, don't want to tell people their story, or, feel embarrassed or anything else. So I never want anybody to have to share something that they don't feel like sharing. So I found that maybe just encouraging people with some of the stuff that helped me, break the chains and the cycle in my life. So I decided to start incorporating it into our channel, just in case, there was somebody that needed the message, or somebody that needed that encouragement. This is a true crime channel, so we talk about a lot of horrible things, nothing that really inspires people or helps empower people to do better for themselves or for their life. So I always try to incorporate that in, but really before we start our journey through these cases. So one of those ways I feel that this book has been very empowering and very helpful for me. And this is called The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. And she does a lot of codependency books and helping break some of the codependency issues that we have, because many people realize that, it's drugs is just, the substances are just one thing. They're a mask for something much deeper. And a lot of people that have those have those vices, they have a tendency of having codependency. And the breaking of the codependency sometimes is harder than the breaking of the actual substances. So I find that reading this book every day still helps me. And I figured if it helps me, it might help somebody else in my audience. So today is December 14th. I'm on absolutely the wrong day. We're about to read October 14th. Sorry, guys. Here it is. And it says, "You're not a survivor anymore." So this is for December 14th. It says, "Many years ago, I asked a fellow therapist what one thing was that hallmarked the unhappy state of being many of us had become labeled as codependency. It's the Cartman drama triangle," he says. "People rescue someone by doing something they don't want to do, or it's not their business to do. Then they get angry and persecute the person. Then they walk away feeling like the victim again." A light went on in that moment, like a gerbil on a wheel. I could see myself spinning around this triangle. I was regularly rescuing somebody, then getting angry and ultimately feeling victimized by it all. I was creating the pain and the drama in my life. Over the years, I stopped rescuing alcoholics. Many of us have gotten off the painful wheel. We know we can't control another person's chemical dependency, depression, problems, or life. But we may have stepped off that wheel and gotten ourselves into another, more subtle drama spin. A friend recently cleaned out his entire house, closets, garage, drawers. He had to hire a truck to come and take everything away. "I can't believe everything I collected and hung on to," he said. "Most of it was junk that I didn't even want in the first place. I guess that came from being poor and going without for so long. I convinced myself that it was free or cheap. I'd better grab it and take it home." Many of us were survivors at one time. We either genuinely didn't have a choice or convinced ourselves we didn't. So we clung on to whoever and whatever came along our path. You may have survived what you went through, but you're not a survivor anymore. There is no need to desperately cling to whatever comes along. We're living now. We're living fully and freely. Choose what you want. God, help me give myself permission to walk a path with heart. Right? It didn't say, hey, call up your friends and family and ask them if you're allowed to walk your path that you choose. It didn't say reach out to strangers on social media to get permission to walk the path that you choose. It tells you have God help you walk the path that you choose. So remember that. Remember that. I like being who I am. If people like me for who I am, that's great. If they don't like me for who I am, that's great, right? And you need to have that same stance too. All right, guys, this first video that we're going to get into is really just a tribute to our officers. I just think that it's very important to see the type of danger they put them in. The danger that they are put in, the danger that they are faced every time they put on this badge and this uniform. And I want you to see what kind of stuff they have to deal with. A lot of people don't understand. It's so easy to judge, in my opinion. It's so easy to judge an officer that has split seconds to make a decision whether his life is in jeopardy or not, let alone the suspects. Because it's all about self-preservation out there, right? And we want our officers coming home safe because they're not the ones breaking the law. But in situations, they can get very, very hairy and very, very quickly. And people need to see it, and people need to understand it, and people need to know it. Because I feel like without the experience, you don't understand. And I feel a lot of news does not show you this stuff. They only show you when somebody's dead and it might be an officer's fault. And now we've got all this stuff breaking off, but nobody understands the dangers that they live through each and every day. And so I want to give this floor to them. And I want you guys to pay attention. These are female officers too. And let me tell you, it gets me hot under the collar. Gets me hot under the collar. Here we go.
Stop! You put the plate on me. Like, stop. Stop. We're fighting. Stop. We're running. Westbound 92. He just dragged Little.
Yeah, it looks like I might have him possibly. He's going to be in it's a fenced-in car lot just west of the location. 10-4. Get in there, and there's a carport overhang in the middle of this junkyard. There was somebody that was kneeling down, looked like he was messing with something possibly on his arm, and then he went further inside the structure. Go in the building, turn around, turn around. Go in that, there's a door, should be a door opening right there, yep. Go in that, there's a door, should be a door opening right there, yep.
Stellan! Stellan! Show me your hands! Stellan! Show me your hands! Come out now! Stellan! Stellan! Come out right now! No, walk out. Stellan, buddy. Give me light. Give me light. Under here. Crawl under. Crawl under. Lay on your stomach. On your stomach. Yes, sir.
So I think it's very important that you see what our men and women are having to deal with out there. That could have easily turned in. Those were two female officers. That could have easily turned into something much more than it was. You know, everybody in this particular matter arrived alive, right? Even the suspect. He's arrested. He's uninjured. You know, the officer probably had a few bruises. You know, at the end of the day, that's a good day. Okay. Everybody came home alive. But that could have turned into a very bad situation. You saw that man just dragging that police officer around like a rag doll. Could have very easily went a different way where he snatched her gun and shot and killed her in a split second. So these people out there that say, hey, you should try to be diplomatic. You tell me how you're going to be diplomatic in a situation like that. They deployed tasers on him, and that man did not even flinch. So please, this happens every day across this country. Every day. So I want to thank the men and women of blue, the first responders, for their dedication to the job. Because you know what? They get abused. And this idea that they don't is ludicrous. So again, thank you to all the men and women in blue and all first responders. So here's another case that I didn't even know about, and I was just kind of, reading what was going on in the world. And there was a Powerball winner. He won something like, after taxes, almost $1 billion, 900 and some odd $1 million. This person won. One of the the larger Powerball. Anyways, his name was Edwin Castro, and he kept his identity secret up until they were required to release the identity of the Powerball winner. He took his friends on this vacation, this luxury vacation, and they apparently had a time of their life. He's missing. Nobody knows where this Powerball winner is. So I thought I'd read this little article. It does have a video, but it's just a video with music behind it and a bunch of print that you need to read. So I figured it'd just be easier for me to read the entire article to you guys, so you guys are abreast of this. This resident is from Los Angeles. I will be putting his photo up here so you guys can see him. If you guys have any information to his whereabouts, or if maybe he just doesn't want people, maybe he went undercover, this is a lot of money. People know your name. They start reaching out to you. They start befriending you. We've seen this over and over and over again. So there might be some nefarious stuff going on here, or it might just be a situation where he said, I got enough money. I'm just going to go off the radar. I'm going to go off the reservation. I'm just going to go, underground. It is still possible for that as well. But considering they're talking about it in a national publication like the New York Post, I have to feel like there has to be some semblance of problems. Obviously somebody with a lot of money disappearing raises eyebrows. Powerball winning Edwin Castro vanished from social media after hitting a 2.04 billion jackpot, and took his friends on a luxury trip to Fiji to celebrate his name before his name was made public. Los Angeles resident, he was only 31 years old, drew a largest U.S. jackpot of all time on November 8th, 2022. The public didn't know his identity until California lottery officials made an announcement in February in accordance with the state lottery laws. Friends said immediately after winning, Castro kept his newfound wealth amounting to almost $1 billion after he chose a lump sum. I just want to put that into perspective. So the government, even though we buy these tickets and stuff, they took over. I just want to make sure you guys understand that. Over 50% of this jackpot. Just to put it in perspective for you, okay? The lottery winner got the smaller chunk of the lottery winnings, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I didn't do the math, but it's damn near 50% or more. That's bad. I noticed he did disappear for a couple of months from his social media after he won, which is smart, sources told the Post. Castro enjoyed his first few weeks of anonymity by treating some of his close friends to a trip to Fiji before his name in photo was seen by the Post. Smiling Castro, this is him holding this fish right there. That's from his trip to Fiji, they say. There's kind of everybody on the boat, his friends, just kind of living it up. There's the boat that they had. I mean, that's nice. That's nice. It's kind of cool. I would love to rent something like that. I bet you it was a beautiful and a fun trip. Thought I might post my trip to Fiji, might delete later. The billionaire joked in his caption on January 20th. According to friends, comment commented underneath, he wrote, "Get in my belly." And it was about, I think it was about this picture right here. The bar was, let's see, the bar is a 2-level floating oasis with drinks, snorkeling, and onboard pizzeria. It's only accessible by boat and lies around an hour out of Port. I can't even pronounce that. It's an island mainland. Cloud9 lists itself as a renewed hub for artisan, underground musicians, lovers, dreams, and pleasure seekers from across the globe. On its website, it's adding more than just a floating bar. It's a vibe. It also says the bar was featured on the reality show Survivor. So even Dolly Vision's got that. This should be interesting for him. Once back from his trip, Castro started to get serious. Let me put this back up. Sorry, I didn't realize it was on a smaller version. It says Castro started to get serious. Sources says another of the first moves he made was to hire bodyguards for him and his family, who at the time still lived in a 3-bedroom family home in La Crescenta, California suburbs where he grew up. And then there's a picture of him, in his football uniform. There he is. They really went deep in this one. Since then, Castro, a qualified architect, and his brother Jesse, who is a banker, have been working together to manage his huge windfall. Once Castro's name became public, spam messages from scammers quickly started on social media and target Castro's family and friends. I do remember getting spam messages from someone to claim to be him saying he was giving away money, a source said. You are blessed. I'm Edwin Castro from California, the Powerball jackpot winner, said one of the scam messages by the post. I have spent most of my wealth over a number of charities and organizations. I have voluntarily decided to donate a sum of $200,000 to you as one of the 300 select people. Castro was slapped with a lawsuit filed by a man who claimed to be the rightful owner of the winning ticket. In his complaint, Jose Rivera claimed that he was one who bought the ticket, which was then allegedly stolen from his former landlord, Reggie Romero. Romero, 47, told the Post he believed his former roommate was the person who purchased the ticket from Joe's Service Center in Altadena, California. So there is some kind of problems with this. I wonder if he got killed over it. While it's unclear how the ticket then made its way into Castro's possession, Rivera appeared in court last week and doubled down on his claim, despite being charged with filing a false police report last month in retaliation to the ticket. He faces up to 6 months in jail and a fine of $1,000 for allegedly filing a false police report if he's found guilty. The trial date has yet to be set in the lawsuit, but the California Lottery Commission has said it's confident Castro was the rightful winner of the prize and says he passed the rigorous series of tests to ensure he is the rightful winner. Since his huge win, Castro has been seen driving vintage sport cars and had made some large real estate purchases, including a $25 million mansion in Hollywood Hills and a $47 million Bel Air estate. He also bought his parents a $4 million home. And he's very grounded in what he does, a source close to Castro. Whatever he spends, he knows he's going to make a profit on it. So some weird stuff going on in this man's life. I don't know what that means. I have literally no clue. But he's definitely missing, according to people, and it is a concern. And now we know that there's somebody that's really angry with him over the winnings and claiming that he was the rightful owner of the lottery ticket. $1 billion, that's definitely enough to get yourself killed over. I don't know why. Hey, Miss Ann, it's nice to see you. Why they would think that would work, because at the end of the day, the money goes to his heirs, not him. And it wouldn't go to the person that had the claim in the court hearing. The court hearing doesn't just say, oh, you're the rightful owner because the person's dead. I believe something more nefarious is here, and it's really sad because I really hope that young man did not lose his life over being the winner of a lottery ticket. People are just idiots anymore.
Two scientists at the University of Florida accused of keeping their own kids in cages. Good evening, I'm John Brown.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Luann Sorrell. This couple is now charged with child abuse. Let's get out to Fox 35's Kelsey Cairns. She's joining us live tonight at the Gainesville Police Department. And Kelsey, you spoke with the detective about this really disturbing case.
Yeah, disturbing is just one of the many words that comes to mind when you think about a case like this. Now, that detective explaining to me, this is the first time in his 20 years of working here at the Gainesville Police Department that he's seen something like this. Now, the pair is accused of keeping their small children inside small cages as they left for work. Now, even more upsetting, this couple actually worked for the University of Florida. Let me introduce you to these two people we're talking about. Here are their mugshots. Yori and Dustin Huff are the two facing child abuse and neglect charges. Gainesville police arresting the pair on Friday following a report that their 6-year-old son told a teacher at his school he didn't want to go home because he didn't want his parents to put him in his cage. Fox 35 confirming with the university that G and Huff were full-time employees. They were placed on administrative leave on Monday. Gainesville Police Sergeant John Pandak explaining how harrowing this case really is.
Not used to walking in seeing a cage where children are kept at night, and of course when home alone. So yeah, it was a little shocking. You'd get emotional, let's say, but you got to keep it in check. Obviously, being independent, but yeah, having kids makes it a little more personal, maybe.
Now, as of last check with Gainesville Police Department, G and Huff are still behind bars following their arrest on Friday. Now, as for their two small children aged 6 and 2 years old, first they were in protective custody on that first night, that Friday night that their parents were arrested, and now they are safe with vetted family members.
So I just want to...
They want to make sure that they don't miss anything.
Sorry. So I just wanted to show you guys, some stuff going around. That the officer video that we showed of the two women that came from our just over the bridge, Hillsborough County, and this one is
two scientists at the University of Florida.
Yeah, the University of Florida. So I mean, it is, just these people are parents. They work for a university. They're going to school. They're full-time employees of that university, and they cage their kids. I don't know how anybody I seriously can't for the life of me think of anybody justifying putting their children in a cage. What happens if there was a fire in their house or in their apartment, whatever they live in? Their children would never be able to get out. It's literally a life and death situation. These kids can't get water. I mean, when they're at work for 8 hours, how do they urinate? How do they go to the bathroom? How do they eat or get fluids in their body? It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And to think that these people are, this is just disgusting. It's just disgusting. But many of you guys know that I was in Minnesota, and so I had an opportunity to look into the Maddie Kingsbury case. I actually spoke to, I met two people at a restaurant and got some insight. I couldn't record them, but I got some insight on what was going on, and we went over all of that earlier on about those conversations. Now, there's been some movement in her case, and so I just wanted to give the floor to her for just a few moments, her case. And so that's what we're going to do, and then we'll read the new update in the case, and then we'll have a little small discussion on it. So here's an update on Maddie. This is not the update. So here's an update on Maddie Kingsbury. Many of you know that I took a trip to Winona, Minnesota, and covered this case in person, including going to the very house that she was allegedly murdered in. Months before her disappearance, Madeline Kingsbury reportedly sent text messages to her friends describing disturbing comments made to her by her ex-boyfriend,
who is now suspected of killing her. According to the newly released warrant obtained by KARE 11, 26-year-old Kingsbury told friends that her former boyfriend, 29-year-old Adam Fravel, told her that if she didn't behave, she would end up like Gabby Petito. Then a month before Kingsbury vanished, she visited her friend at Mayo Clinic where she worked. According to the warrant, Kingsbury told the friend that everything is bad with Adam at the house and that he had been beating her for years. If anything happens to me, know that Adam did it. I would never leave my kids, she reportedly said. As Crime Online previously reported, Kingsbury was last seen March 31st after dropping her young children at daycare in Winona, about an hour north of where her body was found. Kingsbury is believed to have returned to the home after leaving the daycare with Fravel, the father of the two children. She then failed to show up for work at the Mayo Clinic. Police found Kingsbury's body in a remote property a few miles from Fravel's parents' home near Mabel, Minnesota on June 7th. A deputy from Fillmore County Sheriff's Office searched the rural area around a mile away from Highway 43 and found the body inside a trench connected to a gravel road. The remains were wrapped in what appeared to be a gray fitted bed sheet secured with black Gorilla tape. Investigators discovered that Fravel's family regularly maintained this particular property, which is in close proximity to the defendant's parents' home. Then, while searching Kingsbury home in Winona, investigators found a roll of black Gorilla tape that matched the color and the width of tape found on the fitted sheet used to wrap the body. The gray fitted sheet was similar to the bed found at the Winona residence, the criminal complaint read. There's Fravel right there.
As you guys see, this is the problem with this whole case, is at the beginning, before I even went out there, we were reading this about the Maddie Kingsbury case and all the stuff that was going on, and we were listening to it, and while other channels were like, hey, we need somebody must have came over here. No, when we look at these cases, especially when I'm here in Florida and I'm not boots on the ground, one of the very first things that I look at in these cases are the behaviors of the people in and around the person that's missing and the behaviors of law enforcement. I really don't listen to a whole lot of the word salad that's being given at the beginning. I'm looking at the behaviors, what law enforcement is doing, where they're looking, what information are they asking the public for. And in this case, they were asking the public for any information around the minivan that was in Maddie Kingsbury's name, that Adam, excuse me, keep forgetting that Adam Fravel, and his name's Fravel, not Fravel. This is one of the very first videos I did. Adam Fravel was driving that day. They wanted to know if anybody had seen this blue minivan. They wanted to know where it had been. They had already had that it had possibly had been over to another county, but they were looking at they weren't looking for anyone else or any other information. They were looking for information about her, the guy that she lived with, Adam Fravel, the father of the two children she has. They were looking at his history, his whereabouts, where the van was with him. And that was a clear directive to the public that he was the prime target. He was the prime suspect in the disappearance of Maddie. So, we went out there. I had an opportunity to go out there, and I went out there and I looked at the area, and where she was found was very, very far away from her home. She was found, down around by his family's house in the county over. And I can't remember the county name. So before, this is a 10-minute thing. This is, I don't even remember what I said in this particular one, but it is about Kingsbury and court commentary. So it was obviously here in this room somewhere, because I see my sign. My sign's right there, so I can tell which wall I was on. So here we go. Bedhead Betty.
Well, good morning, my beautiful people.
Good morning, right? Bedhead Betty.
TGIF, right? TGIF. I just wanted to come in here and just give you guys a brief update because of the hearing that's going to be taking place today. Coffee Club will not be starting on time, although we are up and ready to rock and roll, right?
Always happy.
So I just wanted to give you guys an update on some of the things that are going on in a couple of cases. One is the Maddie Kingsbury case. Maddie Kingsbury was a 26-year-old mother of two that disappeared from Winona, Minnesota. I had the opportunity to go out to Minnesota and look into this case and had an opportunity to drive this very highway, Highway 43, in an effort to look at this case, find the path of travel for Adam Fravel, and also see if there was any areas that I could identify that might be conducive for her being disposed of, right? So what did we find out? What we found out is that his errands where he ran to Fillmore, it was desolate. Nothing was out there. But it's kind of funny because she was found off a service road on Highway 43 in Fillmore County. So we had to have driven right by her. And that is, it's hard for me, but it's also showing that, when we went out there and said this is desolate, like he would be off a beaten path, dropping her. And we identified several areas that would be easy to, hide her away from the public, hide her away from the searchers, hide her away from law enforcement. So hearing that she was found and able to be brought home to her family was just, this is a horrible case, but it was just that happy, as happy as it could be. She's found, it's a sad, her family is completely, utterly distraught, as you could possibly imagine, but she's home. She's home. And Adam is now no longer to lie and manipulate people around him. He is now in jail. He was arrested after the discovery of Maddie Kingsbury. Again, she was found off a service road, off Highway 43. That means we drove right past her. It breaks my heart. But I'm very thankful that justice can now be served for Maddie, and justice will never be served for her children. Her children will forever be scarred deeply by this event. So let's just keep her children, 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, in our hearts, minds, and prayers. Getting on with the Idaho 4.
So there's our Friday updates. That was way back when. I don't even remember when this. Oh, hold on. Let me click back to me. There we go. I don't even remember when this was. Let me go see if I can. A second. This was done 6 months ago. And the date was June 9th, 2023. June 9th, 2023. So this was 6 months ago that these updates came. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. So the search warrants were unsealed in the Kingsbury murder case, and it looks like financial strains may have been the actual motive behind this, as opposed, many of us thought it was domestic. She's leaving him. But why was she leaving him? I guess is the question. Why was she leaving him? And it seems like, sorry, I'm just going to refresh this because it had already ran the story. So I wanted you guys to hear the story. We might as well hear
to be a race car driver.
Hear the commercial, give them their money.
Is endurance.
I've got to deal with it. You guys got to deal with it.
$7,000. Without endurance, breakdowns can cost thousands. With endurance, you're covered.
Endurance covers nearly.
All right, so I don't really want to hear it. I don't like the music behind it. It's too loud in my ear.
Plan.
There we
Plus
go.
a year of elite benefits and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 1-855.
If you guys need endurance, there you go. There's your commercial. There's the number.
I'm Erin Hassanzadeh with breaking news on WCCO News, streaming on CBS News Minnesota. A southern Minnesota man faces heightened murder charges in connection to the death of his ex-partner, Madeline Kingsbury. Her family last saw her on March 31st after dropping their 2 kids off at daycare. Her body was found months later near the town of Mabel. Monday, 29-year-old Adam Fravel was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. In June, Fravel was also charged with second-degree murder and second-degree unintentional murder. If convicted, Fravel could face a minimum sentence of life in prison. His next court appearance is scheduled for Tuesday morning. Stick with WCCO as we follow this developing story.
So we'll try to, just monitor that particular case. We see this all the time as they start gearing up in the court hearing, in the trial process, where they add additional charges. And typically, how this is because they give basically the jury the options of whether he committed first-degree murder, second-degree murder, or manslaughter, those types of charges. Well, they usually put all the charges on there because when it comes down, if they just had first degree murder charges on there and they didn't meet the burden to show that he premeditatedly murdered this young lady, then he would walk because they didn't meet the burden that they needed to meet to show the premeditation. But by adding the second degree murder charges on there, whenever they're charged, they may not be able to rise or prove the case for the premeditation, but they may be able to prove the case for the second degree. So they are going to add those to the charge list. I'm very cautious when it comes to, I don't personally, and I don't really care what the crimes are, whether they're violent or non-violent crimes. I am not a fan of stacking charges. This is a process that is used that provides the absolute maximum amount of time in jail. It's where they take each and individual charge apart and they stack the charges. So something that you would get maybe 5 years in jail for, you're now getting 15 years in jail for. I'm not a fan, nor do I believe that stacking should be justified or lawful in the United States. Just my personal preference. I don't think this is stacking of charges. I understand this, and I just wanted to clarify that because we do talk about stacking of these charges. Not often. When I see it, we talk about it, but I am not a fan of stacking charges. To me, it doesn't bode with the law of, just and fair, like sentencing. I believe that you need to be just and fair in your sentencing. And in some of these cases that I've read that come across my desk, I thought were very overzealous prosecution and sentencing. And it sickened me. It really sickened me. I have to be honest. It did. So there's your update. I know we don't really talk about Madeline Kingsbury. She goes by Maddie. I know we don't talk about her too much, but I did go out there. I do have content. I may start preparing some videos. I got to go back through all of my content, but we do have quite a bit. And we have the drive. We have the drive back to Fillmore. I have it all videotaped from her house to Fillmore. I actually got lost. I got twisted around because back there's no internet. You have no internet. So once if your phone gets kicked off, like once it's on its path, whether you drop internet or not, it stays on it. But if there's any kind of technical issue with your phone and your maps drop, you lose your turn-by-turn direction. Yes, you still have your map. Yes, you could most likely get to your destination, but it's just not one that you can plug in. You got to now open your map. You got to try to figure out where, so it gets very, very difficult. So there was one time that I literally needed to turn the car around, get back to an area where I could get internet, reprogram the path, and put it back on my GPS. It gets, in a lot of these places, it's very difficult for me to do my job. It really is. Sometimes I get it. Sometimes I don't. But we were able to find the locations, and it's really sad because we went to Fillmore and we had to literally have driven right past her. And that's what just breaks my heart. We had to have. That's really not everything that we're here for today. We are here because we've been following the Alec Murdaugh case for quite some time. Alec Murdaugh, there's a lot to really unpack with the Alec Murdaugh case. And it kind of all goes back to 2015 when a boy by the name of Stephen Smith was ran over and killed in the middle of the road. I'm going to say ran over and killed in the middle of the road. We know he wasn't hit direct impact from a vehicle, but I think there's good enough evidence that he was struck with a portion of a moving vehicle. I think that is now been determined. We know that there was a person that was driving and thought he hit a deer that night and went back to the part where he thought he hit the deer and saw a bunch of law enforcement and realized there was a deceased individual in the road. So we did that person's name. I believe if we dig deep, we'll be able to locate it, because I know it's been talked about before, but for the purposes of this channel and the purposes of this segment, we're not going to be bringing that person's name up. But throughout that, there was that charge, and nobody really thought that was connected to any kind of Murdaugh or anything like that, even though the Murdaugh name came up a significant amount of time. So some time went by, from 2015, 3 years, no major stuff going on. Everything gets back to normal. Stephen Smith's mother is still struggling to come to grips with everything going on. And then, boom, another tragic event happens in Colleton County when Gloria Satterfield, a longtime housekeeper, and when I say long time, I'm talking about decades long loyalty and service to the Murdaugh family, something like 30 years. If you recall, the boys were in their 20s. So Gloria Satterfield was with this family before the boys were even born. So she watched those boys get born into this world. She watched those boys grow up. She helped nurture those boys, and I'm talking about Paul and Buster. So she has been a significant staple in that family as a family member for a significant amount of time. And she ended up having a fall out at the Moselle property in Colleton County, Low Country, South Carolina. And she didn't die from the fall. She actually, they called, she went to the hospital, and apparently sometime later died in the hospital as a result of the injuries she sustained at the Moselle property. Alec Murdaugh approached her boys and said, look, this happened at my property. Let's sue me. I'll take responsibility. Let's sue me. And, these boys, which again, the Murdaughs have been part of their family since before they were born, right? So they looked at him like a rich uncle that just wants to guide them in the right way. They trusted him. Why would you not trust somebody that's been in your family since before you were born? Somebody that has employed your mom loyally and religiously for 30 years. So they trusted him. And he sued himself. And he lied to them about the whole entire process, saying that they only had $700,000 coming to them, and they had a huge windfall of, I think it was something like $4.3 million. I don't know the very specific number, but I think it was over $4 million, if my memory serves me correctly. Do your own research if that number is, pivotal to you. But either way, it was a large sum of money, and apparently Alec squandered it. He stole it from them. A person that has taken care of his family for 30 years, he was able to look in the eye and steal a whole bunch of money from them. They didn't know. They had no clue. They trusted him even up until the events we're about to go into happened. They trusted this man, had no reason not to, had no earthly idea that this man was robbing them blind. Then we fast forward to 2019. And Paul, we learned that Paul has a bit of a drinking problem at this point. He turns into somebody else when he's drinking. A lot of his friends call him Timmy when he drinks. He decided to take the family boat out after he had been drinking. So they were already drinking before they took the boat out. Then they decided to take it over to Beaufort, South Carolina, and where there's some docks, and they pull the boat up to the docks, and then they all unload. And at these docks, there are restaurants and other types of shops out here on Beaufort. I was there personally. I went to the bar that they were seen at drinking. I had an opportunity to meet some of the people. I didn't record them or anything else. I recorded outside the building. And then when I went inside the building, I just talked to some of the people. I didn't even really talk about the case. They asked me who I was and why I was there. They know the people, right? So it sounds like it's a a local staple that everybody knows everybody at. They knew I was different. So I started talking to them about, why I was there and how I was there to cover the financial crimes case of Alec Murdaugh. And, that I wanted to come into the bar that Paul was last at before that night. And I heard they had great wings. And I have to be honest with you, those wings were pretty stinking good. I have to be honest with you. I like the wings. I had the Parmesan and cracked pepper wings, and they were phenomenal. I can do just about any wings, but I like a Parmesan garlic wing. They didn't have Parmesan garlic. The next thing was a Parmesan cracked pepper. I said, we'll try it. And it was stinking good. I didn't even need a dip. I didn't even need to dip. It was that good. So I was there, but it's this point when the whole dynamic in the Murdaugh family changed, because after that bar scene and the bar incident, Paul was significantly more intoxicated than he was when he got there. And so many people were saying, Paul, don't drive, let somebody else drive. He was stubborn. His girlfriend said something. He slapped her slap across her face in front of all of those people that night. This is that information told me that there was violence in his home, because people that don't grow up in violent homes typically don't, they're not taught that. It's a taught behavior. It's not something that they just go into. Some, I guess it's possible that some get, there are behavioral people, even though you have children, you've never had violence in your home. There are, statistically, there are, homes that have people that are violent in a nonviolent home. So I don't want to say that all nonviolent homes have nonviolent children. That would be ludicrous. That doesn't bode with any type of statistics. But for the majority of people, if they're not raised in violent homes, they don't become violent. They don't hit their girlfriends or smack their girlfriends across the face in front of a bunch of people. They just don't do it. So in order for him to have done this, have this behavior, he's had to have seen this behavior. And they're a very tight-knit family and do everything together. So the way my brain works, it leads me to believe that there was violence in the home. That's how my brain works. So they got into this boat, they drive away from this bar, and shortly after that, they hit a bridge. They hit one of the pilings that hold the bridge up. Mallory Beach was killed. Some of the other occupants received significant injuries. Some received minor injuries, but it was a really bad, horrific event, and a girl lost her life. They tried to say, Paul tried to say somebody else was driving the boat, putting off liability to somebody else. And when the attorney got involved, Mallory Beach's attorney got involved, he was able to make the connection that the family knew that Paul had this drinking problem, knew that he was using his older brother's license to get booze, and didn't take the keys away and didn't prevent him from taking the boat. So therefore, they were able to find a way to get to the deeper pockets. And instead of it being Paul just being sued for this, which Paul has no assets, they were able to find a way to open Alec Murdaugh up for financial compensation. And Alec was trying to, be cheap. He didn't want to pay the bill. He said, I'll give you $500,000 and make this go away. And he's broke. And this is an attorney that knows him personally and says, wait a minute, you're closing cases right and left. There's no way you only have $500,000 you can get your hands on. You're a freaking Murdaugh. Cut it out and give me a break. Well, Alec did not want to concede. Now, if he could have just raised the money and paid them a significant amount, like a few $1 million, none of this would have even happened. He wouldn't even, his wife and son would have probably been still alive, but he did not want to. He says he's broke. We don't know where his money is. We don't know where his money went. We know he was spending a significant amount of money for his lifestyle, but we don't know what kind of real lifestyle he was having, because he's trying to say drugs, but the amount of drugs that he says he was taking would have killed an elephant, let alone a grown man. So it doesn't make sense. Where's the money? But either way, he wanted to play this cat and mouse game with this attorney in the Mallory Beach case, and they were in the process of asking him to turn over all of his financial records, everything and anything associated with Alec Murdaugh. And what this was doing is nobody knew that Alec had been laundering money, had been doing all these financial schemes behind the scenes for years. Nobody was the wiser. He was very smart in how he did this con and this scam to get to lure money away from his clients. But he set up this Forge account because Forge is this Forge Management Services does like annuity type of things. I don't know, you know, they do where they take your money and they send you a check each month. You know, it's kind of, and that's kind of what an annuity is, but it's something else. You know, there are conservatorships that manage these large you know, net worth type of situations. So it is, he set up an account for Forge to mimic this so he could get his, you know, all those Forge payments directed to him, stealing his client's money. And with this whole entire situation, he was going to be uncovered. So he was just on the heels of having a court hearing that would have absolutely required him to turn over these documents. There was good cause in the court for them to force Alec to turn over these financial documents. And so shortly before that hearing, his wife and son were tragically murdered on their property while Alec Murdaugh was not there. So we thought. And during this trial, we learned that Alec not only was there, but he was actually at the dog kennels, which he had been proclaiming for 2 years prior to this, that he was not and never had been down there the entire night. And so he was there twice, once for the tree with his son, and just minutes, literally minutes and seconds before his wife and son were gunned down at those very kennels. Just moments before, we heard his voice on a very specific recording when Buster, or when Buddy, or whatever the dog's name was, had a guinea in his mouth. So they had to chase him down, and you could clearly hear Alec Murdaugh's voice in the back. And that's what sealed the fate. So why are we talking about Becky Hill when I've spent 15 minutes giving you the update on Alec Murdaugh? Because Becky Hill was the clerk that oversaw this trial of Alec Murdaugh regarding Maggie and Paul's murder. Alec Murdaugh was convicted of both of those crimes, killing both Maggie and Paul. And then sometime later, they accuse Becky Hill of putting her fingers on the scales of justice and guiding the jury into a conviction verdict of Alec Murdaugh. That is what, excuse me, I'm having hiccups. That is what is being proclaimed by Alec Murdaugh's defense team. And so when we read the motion for new trial, I have to tell you, it scared the hell out of me. I'm like, Becky, please don't tell me you did this. Please. I mean, it sounded very damaging. And then we went to the affidavits that this damaging motion for new trial was based upon. And I started reading those affidavits, and the affidavits were odd. So you have two people that were basically thrown off the jury. And so these were the two people that kind of came forward, the ones that seemed to have had problems or felt humiliated during the trial process. They were the only ones that really came forward to provide affidavits. And when you read the affidavits, they weren't talking about they were told. They're talking about the entire jury body was told. And that's when it became unbelievable for me, because if you told the whole jury body this, then why do we only have two affidavits? And why are those two affidavits only from the two people that appear to have had their feelings hurt some point in the process of this trial? So that was one of the glaring things, and that really hasn't been closed. That worry box for me still hasn't been closed. And to the best of my knowledge, I haven't heard of any other juror member coming forward to say that to corroborate those statements from those other jury members. I have not heard it yet. So I really didn't believe it. And I always thought that Becky Hill, from everything that I saw personally, there at the courts, because I was at the courthouse, I from what I've seen personally, as well as her conduct that we previewed online, it all appeared to be above board. And a lot of people were talking about, because they even talk about her talking to the foreperson. She's allowed to talk to the foreperson. She's the manager. She has to field certain things. That would be appropriate in my preview or my purview. That would be appropriate. So I didn't really quite understand it, but I didn't give it a whole lot of weight and thought it was a bunch of hogwash, coming from the defense, because I don't like Alec. I don't really, let me give this. I don't like Dick and Jim, not because I think they're bad people. I don't like them because they're representing Alec Murdaugh. I have utmost respect for them. I mean, they're doing a great job. And I'm telling you, I'm learning a lot from their legal strategies, and I'm learning a lot from their work and watching their work. They're very smart men. So I have an utmost professional respect for them. I just don't like them because of their client. And so I'm a little biased, and I don't believe their story. So, and unless they had additional information, I just wasn't believing this whole motion for new trial. Well, I have to say that my mind started changing. Because during this motion for new trial, I did dive into Becky Hill, and I saw that she went to the ethics board to make sure that she seemed to have followed the process correctly. She went to the ethics board, made sure she had approval to write this book. She hit all the marks. They gave her approval to write the book. So I'm like, she even went steps, all these proper steps to make sure she did everything right. And so I just didn't believe it. But now we're coming back to this. And then her son was arrested for wiretapping. And as they arrested her son, they confiscate her phone. And it was then, and only then, that I truly believed that for the first time, Becky Hill could be capable of putting her finger on the hands of justice, because I expect our appointed and voted in professionals in their office to conduct themselves in a professional way and above board all the time. That's why we're paying them. And trust me, we pay our government employees very well. And not only just very well, for the rest of their life, okay? Because they have some amazing retirement benefits courtesy of the taxpayers. So we absolutely expect them to handle themselves above board and in the best light possible that represents our communities and our counties in which they serve. They are public officials. She is a public official. I don't like hearing public officials having sons charged with wiretapping. I'm sorry. And if you knew, and when I say you, I'm saying she, when she knew, and if she knew, then she would be capable. That's the kind of person that could, not that she did, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. That's the kind of personality that could put their hands on the scales of justice, giving more weight to the claims of Alec Murdaugh. And trust me, that is a tough pill for me to swallow, because I don't like Alec Murdaugh. I believe he killed his wife, and I believe he killed his son brutally and in cold blood for nothing other than financial gain. And that turns my stomach. I do not like the man. But I'm also a person that believes in law and order. So if that man was railroaded in his trial, he deserves a new trial. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Do I want to see it happen? Absolutely not. Am I confident that he will be convicted again? Absolutely am. Would I be pissed off at Becky Hill? You damn right, because why are we paying for 2 trials over her shenanigans? Now, on the flip side of that, she's afforded due process. We don't know if these allegations are true. But I have to say that SLED's involved, and they are investigating the Hills because of the allegations of Alec Murdaugh. And let's face it, they found something. And that upsets me. Have a small little commercial, and then we'll get to it.
For the last 2 years.
Tonight, we start with breaking news in the ongoing corruption probe in Colleton County, a probe that circles straight back to the ongoing Murdaugh saga. And with that, we're going to bring in investigative reporter Ian Emerson to break down these bombshell revelations. And
Well, Katie, our source claims state wiretapping charges against Colleton County's former technology director, Jeffrey Hill, are tied to a state ethics complaint against his mother, Becky Hill. Mrs. Hill is the Colleton County Clerk of Court. We've also verified the authenticity of that ethics complaint against her. According to our source, who has direct knowledge of the ongoing corruption probe in Colleton County, the state has found evidence these two things are tied. Jeff Hill was arrested by state police on November 21st and charged with wiretapping. Our source with knowledge of the timeline and facts leading to Mr. Hill's arrest and firing claims he used his access to the county's internal communication systems to spy on other county employees. The source tells us SLED agents found evidence Jeff Hill was specifically monitoring internal county discussions about the ethics complaint against his mother, then feeding that information back to her. Becky Hill
told you she knew. I'm telling you that there is no good Southern man out there that does something like this against his mother. Now think about it. His job is most likely because of his mother. His livelihood is because of his mother. I never believed, whenever, you guys know, the minute we found out he was arrested for wiretapping, my tune changed toward Becky Hill, because I know Southern boys. Okay. I'm from the South. I know mama's boys. I can look at a Southern man and tell whether he's a mama's boy or not. And I can tell you 99.9% of your country folk, your countrymen are mama's boys. Okay. I hate to burst your bubble, okay? We got a lot of mama boys out in the country, okay?
is under fire for claims she abused her role as clerk of court for personal financial gain, primarily tied to a book she published about the Murdaugh murder trial. We'll have much more about this case and the public corruption investigation in Colleton County up on our website at abcnews4.com. And of course, you can always follow us with Unsolved South Carolina, the Murdaugh's Murders, Money, and Mystery, our podcast for latest developments. I'm Ann Emerson.
There we go. So there's our update on that. So what do you guys think? I mean, I'm sorry, it's hard not to think that it is connected a little bit. And, you know, I know that this is going to be used. It's going to be used by the defense for the new trial, period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. These allegations, they're going to push because they had already brought up the book. So they're going to be pushing allegations related to that book and financial gain. Now, I don't know if she got financial gain, but they're going to argue, even if she self-published this book, I can already see the arguments now. Even though she self-published this book, it was the enticement of the money. It was the fact that she would have a book that could be a bestseller. It was the thought of the money, whether she retained the financial gain or not. They're going to argue that that was her motivation for putting her hands on the scales of justice. Now, quite frankly, my argument even back in the day was, you know, if he got off this, no matter what the verdict was, it was going to be a bombshell verdict. It was still going to sell. Even if he walked, that, in my opinion, him being found not guilty would have been more of a bookseller than him being found guilty. Because I have to be honest with you, going into this trial, I think the majority of people already thought he was guilty. So the bombshell in this would have been him being found not guilty, in my opinion. I think that would have been more juicy. I mean, for a story, for a book, would be more juicy on how the jury got it wrong, or what are the major complications in the case and what the jury couldn't quite get over. But again, they are fighting for a man's life. And when somebody is fighting, when you've got pit bulls for attorneys, which, let's face it, whether we like it or not, those old geezers are pit bulls, right? They are pit bulls. They don't play. Okay. I would love to be a fly on the wall of the conference room in their office. They have a lot of education. They have a great knowledge of the law. They know how to utilize it to help their clients. They pull out they're good attorneys. Whether I like them, I don't dislike them personally. I don't like their client. So when they're representing their client, they're my enemy, right? We're going to wrestle with them. But in all fairness, I do have utmost respect for them, and their job. I can't imagine how difficult this must be for them personally. I mean, let's face it, they're suffering with all this too. Jim and Dick were friends with both Alec and Maggie. This has got to be very hard for them personally. But one of the things that you learn is removing the emotion. You got to remove your emotion when you're dealing with this, because when you start bringing, and that's the way I deal with and you always hear me say that, even with me covering cases, you got to remove your emotion, because your emotion clouds your judgment. It clouds your common sense. It clouds the law. It clouds a lot of stuff. Your emotions, an emotional response is not a lawful, legal, or correct response. It's an emotional one. A lot of people make terrible decisions based on emotions. So you got to remove your emotions. And I think that they do a great job, even though this is an emotional case for them. I believe that they do a great job at removing their emotions. It is a task that's very hard to do. It's very hard to do. I struggle with it a lot when it comes to cases. That's why I try to put some fail safes and some stop places in things like being an arm's length away from the case and stuff like that. It gives me the flexibility, because when I become when I become friends or emotionally involved, it makes it a little more difficult to be direct, to be observant, to not justify certain things. And that's what I find when you're heavily involved in something emotionally. You have a way of, and it's just a natural phenomenon in the body and the mind and the soul, where you justify the behaviors of your friends. And that's what I don't want to do. I never want to justify. If somebody was wrong, they're wrong. Period. I don't want to justify it. And I feel like if I do help, like even with Don Wells, no matter how you look at it, the guy has done terrible things in his life. He has never repented for them. He has never changed his way. He's never tried to do anything to redeem himself for those things. And that's all, nothing to do. This is prior to him even having children. Okay. Prior to him having children, he was just a bad dude. Then when he had children, he was still a bad dude. He still hurt women. He still hurt kids. He still did things that put children in jeopardy. And so even when you take Summer Wells and her disappearance away, you still have a bad guy. And I'm sorry, I'm never going to support or get on board with a bad guy that can't tell me what happened to his missing daughter. I'm sorry. You're not getting sympathy. Tell me where she's at. Show me that you had nothing to do with it. You'll get my respect. But I don't know. And we have a Sasquatch that scales mountains to snatch children. It just doesn't make sense. And you can't tell me why she didn't scream. You can't tell me who else is there. I'm sorry. Everything comes back. He's in a pickle. He's in a pickle. Because everything comes back to that house. Everything comes back to them. And there was really nobody else. There's nobody else. And he even confirmed that for me himself. There's nobody else to look at. Nobody else. That's out of his own mouth. Out of his own mouth. So with this whole wiretapping charge with Jeffrey Hill in this ethics, we thought she went through it, but I am curious how this whole ethics, because the whole ethics complaint goes, because it's from my understanding. This is just my understanding, and I could very well get it wrong. It is my understanding that she did go before the Ethics Commission to write the book. She has her First Amendment rights just like everybody else. I don't think that's where the ethics complaint comes in. I think the ethics complaint comes in is the fact that she utilized her position and her office to promote the book. She had permission to write it and distribute it, but I think she was using her office and her position to promote the book. And I think that's where the ethical violation comes in. And when I believe when somebody had gotten wind of that, that might have been when Jeffrey started monitoring the people that were in discussions about the ethical issues related to Becky's book. That's what it seems to be from everything that we are hearing. So I'm going to go up. I'm just going to go try to get through some of these, read some questions. If there are some questions, I know when I get on these cases, I just go until I'm done. And I know throughout the conversation, you guys have some questions. Where's Crystal? I saw something saying, Crystal, it's often. You've encouraged my 13-year-old daughter to write her thesis paper on strict bullying policies in schools, and she's going to take it to the board. I love it. I'm telling you, we do inspire people to get involved. And look at that, getting her involved at 13 years old. You know, she's going to have purpose. She's going to have direction, and you're getting her to come out of her skin and speak what's on her mind at such a young age. There's no doubt that your daughter is going to be an amazing person. I can tell you, somebody that already has that want to go get them attitude at 13 years old to speak before their board. That is amazing. That is amazing. This is why we do what we do. You know, we're all about inspiring people to do better, get involved in their community, and give back. And I got to say, you know, even though I'm going without a paycheck for 2 weeks, doesn't matter when the 2 weeks comes, right? I'm getting hit 2 weeks for a paycheck. You know, we realize that this bullying has got to stop and causes major damage. And I keep thinking, you know, the stuff I went through as an adult that has really, really changed the trajectory of my life, you know, where I went from a vibrant person to having people stalk me online and offline. It really sucked my life out of me, you know, where I'm home more than I'm out. I used to be out more than I was home. And people are trying to say that I deserve that somehow. You know, that something that I've done a year ago requires me to be bullied into my home constantly. They're trying to convince their audience that they're not stalking me or having me under surveillance. But every time something happens here at my house, they're the first to know about it. But they don't have me under surveillance. They don't have me under surveillance online and offline. Think about it. How many people are calling your sheriff daily to find out if anything's happened over at your house? Because I think it's pretty odd that people had some personal stuff that was going on at my house that quick to be posting. But hey, you know what? I guess they don't see how that shows and solidifies that I am being put under surveillance online and offline, which many of their followers are calling me a liar. What the hell do you think that is? When you start posting 911 calls from my house, why are you looking? I am a private citizen in the United States of America. Why does anybody think that they have a right to investigate a private citizen 2 years? For 2 solid years, to the point that I have, and this is what they keep saying, oh, it's not a SWAT. They can play word salad with you all they want, but I can promise you on those body cam footage, which I know they're probably already ordered because they're not keeping me under surveillance, but apparently they need to know what's going on in my private life at all times. If that's not surveillance, I don't know what is. That is literally the definition of being put under surveillance. And meanwhile, their entire crew is trying to say this is not happening. But yet every single day, they show their audience it is. This is bullying. This is going way too far. You have no right to be in my life. You have no right to be in anybody else's life. You have no right to use the computer to harass, stalk, or bully somebody. It is against the law. And the people that are breaking this law are the ones that have no problem putting everybody else's criminal records up for personal display, public display. while actually engaging in felonies while doing so. Public record's public record. But what you're using it for is the crime. But hey, you know, I guess they want you to believe I'm crazy, but every time I turn around and they try to convince you I'm crazy, they post something to show that what I'm saying is absolutely true and correct. Somebody, you tell me how that's not being kept under surveillance. Somebody justify that to me. Please, like to know. Asking for myself. Asking for myself. But thank you. I'm very glad that people are starting to stand up and speak up, and I hope more do that. I hope you get your children involved in this campaign to stop online bullying and bullying in schools. I hope more people are involved in their community and county. We just had one person last week get involved with their community and getting involved in child advocation. And then we're learning that a 13-year-old girl is going before her board to advocate. Guys, this is better than my 2 weeks. Like, this is the best payment. I'm now proud to eat my 2 weeks of income for this nonsense with these petty attacks on my account because they don't get what they want. 2 people are now involved in their community. That's the power of the Bullhorn Betty channel, baby. What else we have? 18 years sober here. My daughter saved my life. Congrats to you. Welcome to the club. Yes, 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 yes. Good morning, everyone. My sobriety. Oh, I love these sobriety stuff. My sobriety is my whole life. Work hard on it. My daughter saved my life. Yep. There's a lot of saving. It was, believe it or not, you know, even though I have a, my relationship with my father is not as good as I'd like it to be. He was the one that saved my life, you know, in all fairness. He's the one that came here and, you know, gave me a path forward. I'll say that. I'm really sorry he didn't stick around to see the fruits of his labor, but it's my father. My father saved my life. But there was just a lot of toxicity there that I don't know if it will ever resolve itself. You know, you hear that time cures everything. Sometimes it just doesn't, you know, and I don't ever say that anymore because I don't believe it. And I say the things that I believe and I just don't. Not alone. And good morning to you. Hi, this is Debbie and I hope all is well. Well, good morning, Debbie. It's nice to see you, love bug. Miss Horn says, hey, everyone. She says, hey, everyone, big day for me. Ring that bell live at noon to my in my treatments on my YouTube channel. Start chemo pill next. Congratulations. Southern says, look up how TNDCS double handcuffed a 12-year-old, essentially hog tying him. He has no criminal record. Holy crap. How does this stuff happen with no complaints? Like, people would, if I found out about this in my community, this is why people got to get involved. Like, I would be raising hell right now if that happened in my community. Like, raising hell. Like, people may not like my bullhorn, but you bet your ass I'll be on a corner with a picket sign and a bullhorn for stuff like that. That is just insane. Like, I sat down and talked to my sheriff belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball, about the juveniles in this town. And that we have this place called Horizon Academy. And so anytime they have a behavioral issue in one of our public schools, they have a tendency of just, instead of addressing the behavioral issues, they just take the easy way out and throw these kids into this Horizon Academy. This Horizon Academy is like a boot camp where they got to take their laces off and walk through, metal detectors and stuff. Like, no. If they don't have if they're not in trouble, then no, we're not sending our problem children there, because we know that a lot of these behavioral issues are coming from horrible home environments. And then to be telling them that they're a bad kid because they are already, we want prevention before it ever gets to the point. We want to promote, we want them to break the cycle. I don't see how throwing them into Alcatraz school is breaking the cycle for them. It doesn't make sense to me. So I haven't heard that in this community. If I ever do hear that, I mean, this is what I have control over is here. So if something happens here, you bet your butt I'll be there raising Cain. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it when it comes to the children of this community. That is one thing I do. I have like zero tolerance for. Absolutely zero tolerance. I I don't see our sheriff even arresting a grade school kid. I don't know. I have to look in our past to see if it happens. But if it ever happened, me and my sheriff we would have words. We would significantly have words, and it would be a public display of words too. It wouldn't be a private behind the scenes. I don't agree with you. Get this boy out of jail, because the juvenile, it's not ran by us. It's ran by the state. So once our kids are in the juvenile detention center, it's out of our hands. It's out of the county's hands. We have no control. I don't like that. It's probably like that for your communities as well, and many people don't even know. So congratulations, Miss Ann. That's great news. I'm trying to see if there's anything else before we sign off here. Jen's like, we got Cash App, or not Cash App, we got Super Chats. Good morning, Paralegal Liz. It's nice to see you, Love Bug. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm actually kind of curious how you think this whole thing with the ethics complaint is working out. I don't know if you're really a paralegal. Maybe that's just your name. Hopefully you are. But maybe you can provide some insight on your thoughts about this. I know that you guys are back here for the keep the kids in the cages. Yes, that was insane. To have people like I don't know if they're teachers. They say full-time employees of the school. They didn't really clarify what their positions. At least I don't recall that they clarified what their positions were at the school. That they were just at the school. Everyone have a wonderful day. You too, Jules. You too. Let's get those thumbs up, guys. Don't forget to like this segment. I'm just going through some comments right now. Always leave the TA on my button. That's nice. You guys are so sweet. Sorry, I have to board now. All right, Rusty. Well, you have a safe trip wherever your heart's desire. I think that's about it. Let me see. Hello. I think that's about it. We have some wish lists if you guys would like to participate in those wish lists for Jen and Nova Grace. Please consider doing so. I believe we popped up all of her wish list, Venmo and GoFundMe. I really personally, I like the GoFundMe because it's raising the reward and it's helping fund the PI. And those are the two things that I really think are the most beneficial. We also need to help Jen, keep the lights on. She's not working right now. She still has Nova Grace to feed. She still has her other kids that she's taking care of, and it's Christmas time. So I know no matter what, they need help. And so any help that you can provide, that would be great. And it doesn't really matter where you provide it because it's all help. So please consider it, and we're always at $1. Whenever we do these type of things, guys, we never want any of our audience members breaking the bank. We don't, go out and ask you guys for 20 or retext. Oh, better be glad I'm going through all these. I miss them all when I'm talking. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, no, I did not see that. Oh, let me get back there. It doesn't say the time on it though, so I don't know. Well, I'll just read it. So this is what was said. It says she does have purpose. She has been bullied for 2 years straight, and the school didn't do anything. She watches you with me, and she's home and says she's going to be like you and stand up for others. Aw, that is so sweet. That is really, really sweet. And actually, as a matter of fact, this brings me to another thing that I wasn't really going to bring up on here, but in light of this, I think I am going to bring it up. I think I am going to discuss it because I think it does need to be discussed. People, it's all about explaining to people. 'Cause I know people from these horrible channels come over here to watch us, and this is my opportunity to really speak to them and let them know, their people are filling them with what I perceive as lies. Okay, I'm going to say that they've been lied to for a couple years. They hate me over a whole bunch of lies. And is some of it true? I'm not going to say that it's all lies, but just the healthy portion is. The healthy portion is when it comes to me. And so they have allowed this this to get in because I really truly believe people that can injure and hurt somebody unnecessarily that they don't even know, I truly believe have mental problems, period. Because normal people don't act that way. They don't conduct themselves. So when I see these people and, they do attract each other because they are all looking for the same thing. And so they're easily manipulated, easily lied to because they're more important. The most important thing is them feeling a part of something. Most of these people have no one or nobody. And so being part of the family, and they're using their family to do bad stuff with, whereas we use our family to do good stuff with. So it's just a differences of how things are. But I can promise you all of these channels that are out there bashing me never get messages like this. And this is not the first one from a family that we've helped. It's just people don't want to believe it. Even when you give them the information, you give them the facts in front of their face, you show them your receipts, you show them what you're doing, they will still believe the opposite. That to me is mental illness. There's nothing I can do about it, and I'm not going to try to change people. All I can try to say is that we have people that we benefit and we help, and I can promise you none of these channels have ever or will ever receive messages like this on their behalf. And this is because a parent is literally a grieving mom is literally at her wit's end with the bullying. And how the bullying of me turned out to target her. And a mother of a missing child desperately trying to find her daughter is bullied by the same people that are bullying me simply because she refuses to cut ties with the only person that came out to help her. Now, if that's not disgusting, I don't know what is. And of course, it's all created by the same effing group of people. This should be embarrassing. This you should not be holding your head up high for. And I'm speaking to all of the people that like to use their keyboards to bully people. It's sickening, it's disgusting, and I can tell you, you are the problem more than I could ever be. So let's remove the illusion until you guys, this is the truth, okay? Those word salads they give you with no flipping receipts, you know how horrible I am, we don't do anything, all we do is interfere in cases. No, that's all they do. They have lied to you from the beginning. They have told you to look over here. They have accused me of everything that they have been doing in front of your face and convincing you the opposite. And even when we bring you receipts, some of you people won't even listen. They can never prove one receipt when they have allegations about how horrible I am. But even when I bring a legit receipt to you, you will still deny it. Steve Fisher is monkeying in an investigation he is not supposed to be in. This family has asked him to leave. He said multiple times, at least on 5 different occasions, he's getting out of the case and he's going to start attacking Jennifer Santinello. This is your professional PI, a piece of shit. He's the one causing the problems. And he's the one lying to everybody that I'm causing the problems. Well, let me tell you, he's not the one in Kingsport, Tennessee. George is not the one in Kingsport, Tennessee. Brittany is not the one in Kingsport, Tennessee. Jennifer Santinello is in Kingsport, Tennessee. Jennifer Santinello's PI is in Kingsport, Tennessee. And Layla's daughter, Nova Grace, is in Tennessee. Kingsport, Tennessee, where she disappeared. So I'm going to read this to everybody out there that just doesn't have a clue. And if you want to continue to keep being lied to by people and keep being nasty to me over some BS, you go right ahead. But at this point, this idea that I'm a horrible person and don't help nobody, that illusion is put to bed. I'm getting so tired. This is from Jennifer Santinello. I'm getting so tired of having to explain things that should be basic, common sense. The one thing people do not have when they are on here. Now, this is only on YouTube and only with this small faction, this small group of people, one of which I am suing right now. I'm getting so tired of having to explain things that should be basic common sense. But here we go again. I do not work for Bullhorn Betty. Bullhorn Betty does not work for me. She is a content creator that shares true crime stories. I am a mother of a missing and endangered young adult. Bullhorn Betty was the first person. Now, remember, they had every opportunity to help this lady. Did I not give them 2 to 3 weeks to start running this story? I started putting it on my platform. I started running this story. I started saying, I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to go out there. We need all hands on deck. Please help. And nobody would help. Let's not forget that. So Bullhorn Betty was the first person with any kind of platform to share Layla's case. And when she did, my inbox was filled with hate and drama and people demanding, coming to her and demanding that she choose sides. This is what goes on behind the scenes, that you animals that support this crap, that keep calling me a liar, here's your proof of what goes on behind the scenes that you are unaware of. Here's the real life stuff that they're doing that you want to act like they're not. This is real life to me. In the midst of my panic and fear and desperation to get the world to listen, to get people to see Layla, while I was grasping at anyone who might be willing to help me find her, these people only cared about some ridiculous YouTube feud. Their only goal was to bully the only person willing to help. And then bully me because I didn't walk away from the only person willing to help. I have had enough of it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't care how the case is shared as long as it's shared. It's been shared a million different ways at this point, and I'm fine with all of them. Even the fun interviews that consist entirely of people lying on me, hating on me, and bashing me. I don't care. Layla's face is being shared. Since the media push started, Bullhorn Betty and her community have done nothing but share, donate, support, and comfort me and my family. I have not wanted to be put in the middle of this disgusting, vile, and useless drama, and it is useless, and I agree. I have asked it to stop for 2 years. These animals will not let me go. I am their cash cow. I am their pay piggy. They are exploiting me for profit. And they keep saying I'm doing that to these families when I am not. It is sick and it needs to stop. My daughter is missing. She could be lying in a ditch somewhere decomposing. What is wrong with you people? You have done nothing but get in the way for 5 long months. This is the mother of a missing child. Maybe you guys need to open your ears and your eyes because you've been deceived. You've been deceived for 2 years. Even when I bring you fucking receipts, you act like they don't exist. Meanwhile, all they got to do is say, oh, she lied. Not one receipt needed, and everybody buys right in. You make me sick. And do this to a mother. Maybe not useless, right? Using a young girl's missing case, turning a devastated family against each other is the best way to fuel a petty battle, right? Well, bravo. Job well done. In your blind vendetta against BHB, you forgot that there are grieving, hurting, broken parents living the worst nightmare imaginable. Shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. She's demanding you all to stop. It's time for you all to move on. Go suck the life out of some other broken, grieving people and leave us all alone. Now, I wonder what of you hyenas really give a shit about this family or the victim at all. But, you know, you probably will still keep on keeping on doing the same vile garbage that you've been doing for the last 2 years, right? But hey, none of this is going on behind the scenes, and Bullhorn Betty's just a crazy kook, right? That she's been saying for 44 years, comes to YouTube, and then all of a sudden she just hits the crazy train, and she's just an insane, crazy lady on YouTube. Meanwhile, the people that are calling me crazy take a handful of psychedelic pills. Okay. Don't sit here and tell me I'm not being surveyed and under surveillance when you see that I am. Blank screen proved that to you. I didn't even need to put the receipt out there. He did that. You know damn well I was not homicidal or suicidal, yet somebody called and had me swatted at my own home on December 5th just recently. But I guess I'm just making that up too. But he was able to easily get that information. I'm not under surveillance, right? Remember, I'm not under surveillance. But it seems to know they know a lot about my personal comings and goings here at my home, in my private home. But I'm not under surveillance. Okay. You guys want to keep going? You want to still keep calling me a liar? Or do you want to put an end to this nonsense and pull your head out of your ass and realize that the creators that you're supporting are doing this not only to me, but to victims' families? Way to go with that support on helping those families. Way to go. Way to go. You should be disgusted with yourself. I should literally have a million freaking emails in my Gmail apologizing to me for what you guys put me through over lies. And even when we give you guys receipts, you still go back over there to those same shit channels and let them act like, oh, let me guess, I made this up, right? Oh, let me guess, their next comment is, I helped her craft this, right? I bet you that's going to be the next thing. I didn't even know about this. This was sent to me. Had no clue she even wrote it. Had no clue she even wrote it. But damn, to be putting a mother of a missing, she hasn't even told me about this. I had no earthly idea this stuff was going on. This is disgusting. And don't tell me your people ain't going real life. This looks like, let's just say real life is knowing what's going on in my home, in my private home. Real life is calling a church. Real life is calling cops to come here. Real life is reaching out and bullying a victim of a missing child. This isn't coming from the Bullhorn Betty channel or our channels, our good channels. This is coming from one group. So you guys can keep saying I am insane and I'm crazy and losing my shit all day long. But meanwhile, they're the ones providing us each and every one of those receipts, supporting each and every one of my claims. I am under surveillance. If you don't believe me, go to look at Blank Screen's channel. He's got stuff that went on in my house that nobody knew about. How the fuck did he know? Unless I'm under surveillance. Online and offline. And let me guess who brought that man to my door. I've got the right people. I'm suing the right person. And I'm sick and tired of people saying I'm insane. People saying I don't have, that this is frivolous. Really? I've been dealing with this kind of garbage for 2 years in silence because I haven't brought it to YouTube, because the reason why they're doing this is they want the attention of me bringing it to YouTube. So I keep it silent. So every time they were able to say that this stuff wasn't happening because I kept my mouth shut and didn't want to bring it attention, didn't mean it wasn't happening. It didn't just start happening. It's been happening. I'm just now talking about it. And I'm just now talking about the recent stuff that's been happening. That's real life for me. While they're telling you I'm doing this to them, I am not, and I can prove that. Do what you will. God bless.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.